Hello, welcome to another chapter on our series Learn Data Science. We are calling these as our R language primer. You are on the chapter today for loops. Any programming language needs to execute the same statements again and again till an exit condition is reached. We have to note very carefully that without an exit function, the looping will become infinite, which means the program will go out of control. You can only way to stop it is to stop the execution by going to the OS level. So we need to ensure that all the loops we use need or have an exit status, a condition or a timed number of attempts to loop around, some method to get out of the loop. So if you look at the diagram here, we have had this expression which is being tested. If it is true, the code is executed, some update takes place either to a variable or to a status or a flag, and then again it's tested, the condition is tested for true or false. Code is repeated till the condition is no longer true, then we exit the loop. We have two types of loops. This is a very broad classification, not the syntax. We have a for loop which executes for a given number of times. But when we say given number of times, it need not be a fixed number of times. It can also be a kind of a condition, but we know that most of the time we use these loops for a fixed number of executions. Whereas the while or repeat loop, we are not even sure if the loop will be executed because it's based on a condition. In the while loop, the loop may not even exist if the condition is initially false. If the condition is true, it will execute at least once and thereafter the condition is checked again. In the case of the repeat loop, it will execute at least once because the repeat checks the condition after entering into the loop. Now when we are within a while, a for or a repeat loop, we can break out from the loop by using the statements break. Now we go to the first of the loops, which is called a for loop. In a for loop, as you can see from the flow chart, we need an initial condition, which we call as initialization. We assign a variable or a constant value. A condition is checked. If it is true, code is executed. Otherwise, we exit and move on to the code outside the loop. In the while loop, you can see that it's almost the same, but the condition is assigned an initial value. That's the initialization. Then the loop is repeated not so much for a given number of times, but more till the condition is fulfilled. In the repeat loop, as we discussed earlier, it will repeat at least once because it checks the condition after the control enters into the loop. The syntax for the for loop is you start with the keyword for, then we have a value in a vector. There are face brackets or curly brackets within which the statements to be executed if the condition is true are coded. We have a simple example here. We have said that the letters 1 to 4 are assigned to a variable A, and we have said that for, and then we have said I in A. I being the variable in, and the A is the outer value which we are checking for. As long as it is there, we print the value of I. So the first output is A, then second is B, then third is C, and the fourth is letter D. As you can see from the example which has been executed in the R console, you can also run it in the R Studio. If you need to know how the R console or the R Studio are to be installed, please visit our first video where we have explained how the code is to be downloaded and installed. Next, we go to the while loop. While has an expression which is tested first, a Boolean expression, and then in the curly brackets or the braces, we have the statements to be executed. Our example is we have the string hello world assigned to a variable p. We have set the count cnt as 2. And we have said while the count is less than 7, initially it will be true because 2 is less than 7, you print the value of p. So when we print the value p, if you see on the right side, we have the output hello world. Then we are incrementing the count by 2. So when the count was 2, it now becomes 4. So when it is 4, again the loop is true. So we get into the loop and we print the value of p, which is again hello world. Then we add 2 more to it, makes it 6. Again 6 is less than 7, so the print p executes. But after 6, if we add 2 more, it becomes 8. 8 is not less than 7, so the control breaks and comes outside the loop. You can see the example run in the R console. You can also see it has printed the string hello world, those 2 words, 3 times. Because the first time we had a value of 2 for the count, then 4 and 6. When it became 8, the condition was no longer true. In the repeat loop, we repeat the conditions of the, we repeat the commands which are there in the curly braces, and we have a condition inside based on which we come out of the loop. To break away from a loop, we use the keyword break. The example is almost the same. We have this hello world as 2 words, and then we have the initial count value of 2 cnt. Then we open the repeat loop, we print the value of a, and then count increases by 2, which means it will become 4. And then we check if it is greater than 5, it's not yet. So we break if it is true, but since it's not yet true, the break will not happen. We repeat the loop again, and then we print the value of a and increase the value of the count by 2. It started with the initial value of 2, became 4, now it becomes 6. 6 is no longer 6 is greater than 5, so the condition is true and we break out of the loop. Then we go on, we can see the program in the R console. We can have a look at this, which has been executed. You will see that the hello world strings have been printed 2 times. When we saw the break statement earlier, which we had in this program and here, what it means is whenever a break is encountered, the loop is terminated. We can also use the break in another syntax called the switch statement. So here you can see how we are doing it. We said hello world, the count is 2, the repeat, then we have print a and break. The loop will terminate, we said. Count less than, if it is assigned value 2, then it we are increasing it by 2 more till we exceed the value 6, and then the break brings us out. So we have the condition where we have said that if that value is greater than 5, we break out of the program. The next statement will not exit the loop, but will recycle the loop again. It will go back and say, start this loop all over again. So here we have the letters 1 to 6, and for A and D, we have said that if I is equal to D, we say next, which means the loop will restart, or rather go on to the next iteration. And if it is not, we have print I. So what we notice is we have printed the letters A, B, C, but we have not printed the letter D, because the condition says if D is equal to 5, then we do something. So in this case we have said next. So we are asking the loop to just go back and resume, but don't do anything beyond that. So the letter D is omitted in the output on the right. So you can see the same program which has been run in the console. The only thing you have to go through the syntax now, so the rules to be followed. And you can say how the printing has been done. A, B, C, E, and F. We thank you for completing another chapter in our Learn Data Science series. We're happy to have you each time with us. It's a pleasure we look forward to. You can send your comments to the YouTube comment page or through our own website. You can always also mail us whatever feedback you have or any suggestions or any doubts to datumscientia@gmail.com. Trust yourself, you know more than you think you do.